Hello and welcome once again to Let's Start Cooking. I'm Wayne and I hope everybody had a great week. You know, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do something that takes me back to when I was a kid. It used to be a favorite. You don't really see it that much anymore. And what we're going to do is make a classic Salisbury steak. But before we start, I ask that you watch the video, you like and share with your friends, subscribe, and just leave a word. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to try. So we get all that out of the way, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up our pan and we're going to cook our onions. And all we did was we took onions and we sliced them real thin, and it's a half an onion, about a medium onion, and we're just going to slice them up real thin, and we're going to cook these up until they're nice and tender. So we're going to get the pan nice and hot, and we're going to add our butter, and I'm going to have all the ingredients in our description. But all we're going to do is we're just going to let this melt into the pan. We want this pan to get nice and hot, because basically what we want to do is we're going to saute the onions. So we'll get this melted down. Now we used about 2 tablespoons of butter, and you can use salted or unsalted. And now we're just going to lay our onions right in there. And we're going to cook these for about 4 minutes. We want these to get nice and tender, translucent. And I used a medium onion, and I used about half of that, and then I thinly sliced it. Because we're going to cook these, and then what we're going to do is we're going to actually take these back out of the pan, and then we're going to get our steaks ready. Once we get into this point, it's been about 4 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to take them off. Get something here to grab these with. And we're going to take these out, and we're going to put them right back in the bowl. Because what we want to do is we're going to turn this heat down, because we're going to end up using this pan and what's in it again. But right now we just want to get this out. We're going to set that to the side. We're going to turn this down for now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get our beef ready. Now we have a pound of ground beef, and you try to use something at least 80-20. You don't want to go real fatty, because you're just going to end up having to drain the pan before you do anything else. So we have a pound of beef, and to that we're going to add a cup of panko breadcrumbs. Going to add about a 1/4 cup of beef stock. About a 1/2 to a teaspoon of black pepper, depending on how you like your pepper. And to that we're going to add 1 large egg. I'm just going to beat that up just a little bit, just to break it up. I'm going to add that to it. It's nothing fancy. Now we're just going to mix this up. You can mix it by hand. You want to get this all nice and mixed up. And we're going to make 6 patties out of this. So we're going to get this all mixed up. And we don't want to play with it too much, because with hamburger, if you've ever noticed, the more you play around with it, it starts to get really sticky. And we don't want that to happen. So we're just going to gently mix this up. Once we get it to this point, like I said, you don't want to play with it too much, because we don't want it to get real sticky. What we're going to do is we're going to make about 6 patties out of this. You want them about a 1/2 inch thick. They don't have to be perfect, but you want them all about uniform size, because what's going to happen is when you put these in the pan, you want them all to cook about the same way. So we're going to do about like that size. And for now, we're just going to lay them over here on a piece of wax paper that I have until we get them all made. And like I said, you just want to do about 6. If you don't get exactly 6, it's not a big deal. You just want them about the same size. So we'll get these made up, and then we'll get our pan heated back up. Once we have our patties made, we're just going to set them to the side, and we're going to work on the sauce that's going to go with these. So what you want to do is you're going to take another cup, about 1.25 cups, maybe a little less, of beef broth. Some Worcestershire sauce. We're going to take our flour. We're going to take Dijon mustard. And again, I will have all the ingredients in the description. ketchup ketchup. And we're just gonna put that right in the bowl. And about 1/3 cup of water. And we're just gonna whisk this all up. Because this is gonna go in with these patties once we get these cooked up a little bit. Because what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna cook these patties about 2 minutes on each side because we wanna get a nice crust on them before we try to put anything else on them. So we'll set this to the side now, and now we're gonna heat our pan back up and we'll get our patties cooking. Now we have our pan nice and hot. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take 4 of our patties. We're just gonna lay them right in there. And like I said, we wanna cook these about 2 minutes on each side. And we don't wanna overcrowd the pan. So we're only gonna put 3 in it. Because we wanna make sure they get a nice crust on them before we flip them over. We don't want these to fall apart, and they are soft. Now we just want to flip them over. And like I said, just be careful because they are very soft. They're going to want to fall apart, but we're going to be very gentle with them. And we're going to cook these another 2 minutes. We're going to take them out. And then we're going to add our sauce and onions back in. And then we'll go from there. Once we pour our patties off, what we want to do is we're going to take the sauce that we made and we're going to put it right in the pan. Just like that. And we're going to add our onions back in. And what we're going to do now is we're basically going to deglaze this pan. And that's why we didn't want to take anything out of this. We're going to let this heat up and we're going to deglaze this pan. And then we're going to add our patties back in. We're going to cover this and we're going to let this simmer on low for 20 minutes. That's why we didn't cook the patties all the way through, because we want them to cook in this. So we're going to deglaze this. We'll let these all get nice and happy. Now, depending on what ground beef you used, you might have to drain a little bit of the grease off of it. I use pretty lean, so I didn't have to drain hardly anything off. And we're just going to, like I said, we're just going to let this heat back up, deglaze the pan. And when you see it start to steam and we know we got the heat worked back up, we're going to add our patties back in, cover this, and let this simmer for about 20 minutes. Now that we see the steam starting to rise off of this, what we're going to do is we're going to take our patties and we're going to put them right back in. And like I said, just be careful because they're going to be soft and they're going to be hot. So we just want to lay them right back in as best you can. I mean, if they break up, we're going to try not to break them up. But if they do, we're going to try to be easy as we can. Get them back in. And we're just going to let these simmer now the way they are on low, covered for about 20 minutes. We've had these on for about 20 minutes, and all we have to do now is we're just going to open up the lid here, gently lay that to the side, get one of these out. Nice and cooked inside, nice and hot. You can smell a mile away. You can smell the garlic. You can smell the mustard. That brings back the memories of when I was a kid. Everything's nice and moist. It's not dry. The onions, the mustard comes out in flavor. It's a very inexpensive meal that takes a pound of hamburger. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like and share it with your friends. And I hope you subscribe to our channel. And I hope you have a great day.